Well, good evening, East Alabama and West Georgia. Dr. Don in here with you. It is Friday, May 2nd, 2025. It is 5:52 p.m. Central and 6:52 p.m. Eastern. We are watching a line of thunderstorms move across East Alabama and West Georgia. Let's go ahead and take you right straight to the radar, and we'll show you what we're talking about. Let's take it full screen and look at that. We have a line of strong thunderstorms stretching now from northwest Georgia all the way back into northeast Alabama to a point near Gadsden, and then down to around Birmingham, and then to the southwest all the way back into Mississippi. And these showers and thunderstorms will continue to move across the state. Those orange boxes that you see on the screen are current severe thunderstorm warnings. I'll put this in motion so you can kind of get an idea of which way the storms are moving. And we have a new severe thunderstorm watch that has just been issued. Actually, it's not a new watch. It's an extension to the east of an older watch that was issued earlier this afternoon, but it now covers Carroll County of our coverage area in west central Georgia. It covers Cleburne, Calhoun, Talladega, Clay, Randolph, Tallapoosa, Coosa, Elmore, also in our coverage area. And then it does get Autauga County down in central Alabama, Chilton County in central Alabama, St. Clair, and Shelby. It does not, at the moment, include Lee or Chambers in Alabama. It does not include Hurd, Troop, Harris, Coweta, or Meriwether of our coverage area in west central Georgia at the moment. That could change. The watch could get shifted further to the east. And the reason they're doing it this way is because we are expecting this line of thunderstorms to weaken as we start to lose the heating of the day. So instead of issuing a severe thunderstorm watch for a large portion of Alabama and Georgia, and then have that line of storms weaken, and then have to cancel the severe thunderstorm watch, the Weather Service is just simply shifting this watch to the east and keeping it out ahead of that line of thunderstorms by a tier of 2 or 3 counties in advance of the line of thunderstorms. So that's the way this is going to be handled this evening, because at some point we do anticipate these storms to start dying out or weakening as we lose the heating of the day. Now, we still have, I think it's plausible to expect that we have at least 2 hours to go before we start to see that happening, maybe a little bit longer. So that's why they're handling this the way they are this evening. I'm going to turn the watch back off because that kind of pollutes the radar, and it's kind of hard to see what's going on with so many drawings on there. So we're going to, give me just a moment. I'm going to do a couple of things here. I want to switch this from the composite over to level 2. And we will show you. I'll start at the top, and we'll work our way back down to the south. And we'll start up here in northwest Georgia, southern Tennessee, northwest Georgia. Some really big thunderstorms up here in Tennessee at this hour. This is to the south and a little bit east of Cleveland, Tennessee. We have a really big thunderstorm there just north of the Georgia state line. One big storm there just south of Collegedale, Tennessee, just to the northeast of East Brainerd. And then we get down into Georgia, just northwest of Ringgold, sitting right over the interstate up there, 75, just to the south of East Ridge, Tennessee, up south of Chattanooga. That is a really big cell that's most likely producing some pretty significant hail. And then you get back down toward Chickamauga. We have that storm that's lined up just south of Fairview. And then you see the line of thunderstorms stretches all the way back down to the southwest, big storm there, just southwest of Lafayette, Georgia, north of Tryon. And then we get into northeast Alabama, and we've got very heavy rainfall near Valley Head, Fort Payne. That continues to the southwest down to around Collinsville. Mountain Borough, Alabama, Reese City, northwest of Gadsden. We have a most likely a hail-producing thunderstorm there. Steele, Alabama, the storm is knocking on your door near Altoona. Aniana, Highland Lake, Springville, Argo. We're getting down now to the I-20 corridor there near Leeds. East Birmingham, this line of thunderstorms moving through there at this hour. A heavy storm cell trying to develop just west of Talladega. Some heavier storms near Vincent, Chelsea, Alabaster. A big hail-producing storm there just southwest of Alabaster. Severe thunderstorm warnings. Everywhere you see those orange polygons, that is a severe thunderstorm warning. How about that one just south of Greensboro, north of New Bern? This is in Alabama. It's a pretty good-sized storm there. In East Alabama and West Georgia at this hour, nothing much going on except for that storm just north of Anniston that's developing well out ahead of the storm now. It's going to move to the east, probably just south of Jacksonville and just north of Anniston. And that is going to be a pretty strong thunderstorm. It's kind of out there on its own, out ahead of the main line. So heads up. North Anniston, Weaver, east side of Ohatchee, north of Bynum. And Jacksonville, I'd pay attention to this one as well. And that'll continue on off to the east. So eventually that ends up over in Cleburne County. So Coldwater, Fruithurst, you need to pay attention to what's happening off to your west. Moving a little bit to the south, nothing at all going on in most of Talladega County, all of Clay, Randolph, all of our West Georgia counties, nothing happening at the moment. But off to our west, we do have that line of thunderstorms, and we are catching severe thunderstorm warnings for every single portion of this line of storms, primarily because of wind gusts to 60 miles per hour and large hail. This is not really a tornado setup. Though you often hear me say this, and I always will say this, you can never, ever completely rule out the possibility of a tornado when you have rotating thunderstorms. And all of these storms are rotating, or they wouldn't be thunderstorms, or severe thunderstorms at least. So there's a look at the... That's a mesoscale discussion. That is a discussion that the National Weather Service puts out talking about the status of the severe thunderstorm watch and whether or not they're going to continue the watch and why. And it's a lot of high-level technical stuff that they write in these mesoscale discussions. But basically, they're supporting their idea that they are going to continue with this severe thunderstorm watch for the time being. And they may end up extending it even further than what you see here. This is their justification for that last extension, which does get into a lot of our East Alabama and a handful of our West Georgia counties. 35 to 50 mile per hour winds are the biggest threat here. And some locations are also reporting some pretty decent sized hail with some of this activity this evening. So we're going to switch now over to our GR Level 2 radar, which kind of gives us a little bit of a different look into the storms. We've got to go back over here to get to it, I think. And yes, there it is right there. And this is kind of a cleaner look. Not the screen's not quite as congested. Looking at it in from this site, and there you go. The bigger storms right now, just south of Chelsea, northwest of Harpersville, southwest of Pell City. And let's take it back over to Birmingham. I think we were looking at that from Huntsville. All right, so that looks a little bit better. That kind of gives you a look. Randolph County is here. This is Roanoke. Oh, and by the way, folks, for the first time in the history of Dr. Don's Weather, we are streaming and screaming at over 6,000 kilobits per second. That does not mean a thing to most of you, but I promise you, that is incredible. The resolution should be much, much better than it's ever been before. If you're watching us on a big screen television, it should be high definition. Should be pretty phenomenal. We had our fiber internet turned on Monday, and tonight is the very first time we have gone live with our new fiber internet, and we're purposely are throttled at about 6,500 kilobits per second at the moment. I wanted to make sure that was going to be stable. And then next time we come live, I'm going to bump it up even higher. We're going to push the broadband fiber internet to its limit and see just exactly how high we can go with that with those kilobits per second. That's pretty good, though. Normally we're somewhere between 3,500 and 4,000. Right now we're running at about 6,000 kilobits. So quality should be pretty good out there. Thank you for that report, Stacy. I appreciate it. If you guys had any earthly idea what we have struggled with over the last 7 years trying to broadcast live from the rural mountains of northeast Georgia for East Alabama and West Georgia, you would appreciate the significance of us being able to stream at the moment 6,333 kilobits per second. It's pretty amazing that I never thought that day would come, to be quite honest with you. So a big, big step forward with our abilities here at Dr. Don's Weather. All right, so again, we are here because we have some severe weather out there. Those yellow polygons that you see on the screen are our severe thunderstorm warnings. I kind of got the screen split. On the right-hand side, we're looking at the base velocity. And on the left-hand side, we're looking at the reflectivity. The reflectivity over here on the left-hand side is what you normally see on a radar. On the other side of the screen, we are looking at the base velocity, which kind of gives us an idea of what the winds are doing inside these storms. I'll take us in a little bit closer. And we don't see anything in there that suggests that we have anything going on other than straight line wind. And there is a good bit of that. I mean, 35 to 50 mile per hour wind gust possible in any of these storms this afternoon. And again, this is Clay County, Randolph County, and here's your line of storms over here to the left. We'll get the color crayons out here, and I'll show you kind of, well, I think we're going to have to go down this way to do that. Okay. All right, so here's your line of storms. You can actually see a little gust front right there forming out ahead of this line of storms, and it's all moving in this general direction. Thanks, Kathy. Ashland is in the house. Kim Tate's with us over on County Road 43, checking in. Oh, Rachel, no, you didn't. Rachel kicks us off with our first What About tonight. Rachel is in Beauregard, Alabama. And she's asking, what about Beauregard? What about Beauregard? So Beauregard is down here in southern Lee County, Alabama. And I hadn't mentioned a word about Beauregard because there's absolutely nothing going on down there. All your weather is back off to the west. And we anticipate this line of storms to weaken as we start to lose the heating of the day. So it's kind of a timing Russian roulette type deal going on right now as to whether or not places like Beauregard will see any significant weather. I certainly think you get at least a thunder shower out of this. But we're still several hours away from it getting into Beauregard. Now, is there a possibility something could pop up ahead of this line of storms? It is possible, though we don't see a lot of that happening right now. We do see that one lone storm that's popped up between Jacksonville and Anniston. So we could see that happen down here on the south side as well, but it's still a ways away from you, Beauregard. So that's kind of the way this works. If I'm not talking about your town, then you certainly don't have anything to worry about in the immediate future. Will this line of storms in its current state make it all the way into Lee County? That's a big question mark right now. We're going to kind of have to watch this as we go to see if that transpires. Okay. We're going to switch back to WSV3. There we go. And we've got so many severe thunderstorm warnings on the screen. It's a wee bit hard to see. So what I'm going to do is take the severe thunderstorm warnings off of the screen for the moment. That way you can kind of really get a good look at what's happening out there. All right, so again, this is your line of storms, basically. And they're moving in this direction. So if you're in places like Anniston, you've got a storm sitting just north of you. I think it's going to stay north of you. But if you're in places like Anniston, Bremen, Talladega, Sylacauga, Ashland, Lineville, eventually Woodland, Wedowee, Roanoke, Wadley, Rockford, Alexander City, Dadeville, Lafayette Valley, Franklin, LaGrange, Pine Mountain, and even Auburn, Opelika eventually. You're going to deal with some of this. But how strong it will be when it gets there, the further away your town is from the line where it is right now, the less the chance is going to be that the storms will still be severe when they get there. As we go throughout the next couple of hours and the sun starts to set and eventually goes down, then the heating of the day will subside. That's what's helping fuel these storms at the moment. So as we start to lose the heating of the day, these storms will start to weaken. So if you're in, let's say, Talladega, odds are pretty good you're going to get a severe thunderstorm. If you're along that same line, but you're way over here in West Georgia, let's say Noonan, then the chances that the storms will still be severe by the time they get to Noonan are much lower. Not zero, but much lower, because it's going to be, you still got at least an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours before it gets to Noonan. So you can kind of use that theory and that logic and apply it to wherever you are on the map. Folks, this is why it is so important to understand where your town is on a map and understand the direction weather typically moves so that you can kind of figure this out on your own. And that helps you remain weather aware. 90% of surviving severe weather comes from being weather aware. So understand, and we always try to give a little weather 101 as we're doing weather coverage for you here on Dr. Don's Weather to help you understand how this works. That also will help you folks who deal with weather anxiety, which is a very real thing. And the more you can learn about it, so that you don't have to wait on Dr. Don to call the name of your town. You can just look at the map and tell where the storm is, which direction it's moving, understand the type of setup we have for that particular day. And I always try to tell you that right up front when we start our coverage. Is this a tornado type day? Is this a severe thunderstorm with possible tornadoes type day? Is this a severe thunderstorm event or a tornado event that it doesn't really matter whether we're in the daylight or nighttime? Or is this one of those events that will weaken as we lose the heating of the day? And that's what we're dealing with in this particular setup here today. Understand it, get to know it, learn it, do a little research. And that will go a long way to help you with your anxiety when we deal with these type of weather events. These storms are moving around 30 miles per hour. So here's a big one right here just to the west of Jacksonville. It's a slow mover, too. This one is. It's kind of got more of a northeast component to it, and that last frame or two kind of had a northward component to it. Sitting right on top of 431, just west of Jacksonville. Most likely got some hail in that bad boy. That's a big one. Let me turn the warnings off. First of all, there's the watch. Again, for those of you who are just tuning in, this is a brand new extension of the severe thunderstorm watch that's been in effect for central Alabama for several hours. They just recently extended it further east into East Alabama and at least part of West Georgia up there around the I-20 corridor. So I'll turn that watch back off. And then let me turn the severe thunderstorm warnings back on. Look at that. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. So this one is east at 47 miles per hour. So the upper end of this line is moving a little bit faster. So about 47 miles per hour. Maximum hail expected with this particular, when we're talking about this thunderstorm up near Jacksonville. The maximum expected hail on this one's about 1 inch. Maximum wind gust at 60 miles per hour. And motion is to the east at 47 miles per hour. This warning was issued at 6:06 and it's valid until 7 p.m. All right, so now we'll move down and we'll look at Talladega County. Well, actually, I think that's part of the same warning. Go in. It is. So that same warning that covers Cleburne or Calhoun also covers Talladega. Now, the next warning downstream is going to be for northern Chilton and for Shelby. And this is a severe thunderstorm warning that expires at 7 p.m. The motion on this one's 40 miles per hour. Again, maximum hail size on this storm is 1 inch with 60 mile per hour wind gusts. So around 40 to 50 mile per hour forward motion on these storms. The closest severe weather to us right now in East Alabama is going to be this stuff moving into western Talladega County, just west of Talladega. Everywhere you see the blues and pinks and extremely dark red, those are the areas where we could be looking at some hail. I'll stand by a second. All right, folks, occasionally that happens because, as most of you know, I am an emergency manager up here in northeast Georgia, and we are dealing with at least one heavy thunderstorm up here right now. And so that was my PIO, Bryce Barrett, just called in to tell me, because we have a strong thunderstorm down in Hall County. So for those of you over here in Georgia that may be watching me, there is a very strong thunderstorm over here in Hall County. Now, bear with me because I've got a photograph here that I am going to try my best to show, because this is a very, very valid message I want to share with everybody, because this happens. We've got a thunderstorm down now just north of Gainesville near Claremont, which is just over the mountain ridge from where I live, and it is producing what is called a Scud cloud. Now, Scud clouds are formations that look like tornadoes, but they're not, and that's exactly what this is down there in Claremont, or just north of Gainesville. Just south of Claremont. This is probably going to move parallel to 365 up toward Cornelia. It's near Lula, Georgia, at the moment. So people are freaking out down there in Hall County. They think that they're looking at a tornado, but that is not what we are looking at. And I'm trying to multitask, and those of you who know me very well know that that is not my absolute best thing I can do. So I'm trying to get it over to my Facebook. All right, I've got it over there, so bear with me just a second. And we're going to get this. Hopefully I can get this up here so you can see it. tell you what's the truth. Modern technology is fantastic, but they've got security so daggone tight till you can't hardly do anything nowadays. All right, I've got it up on the screen. Let's take the display capture. I think that'll get it. There we go. All right. So if you look real close, that looks like a tornado. It looks like twin vortex is what it looks like. Now, I don't know exactly from which direction this photograph was taken, whether we're looking at it from the north, south, east, or west. But I can tell you that the National Weather Service only has a special weather statement out on this storm at the moment. And I can almost guarantee you if I knew we were looking at this from a particular vantage point, I could tell you with 100% certainty that those are not tornadoes. They are scud clouds. But because I don't know which direction this photograph was taken, I can't say that. But I can almost guarantee you that is what we're looking at, scud clouds. Because if those were twin vortex tornadoes, the National Weather Service would be screaming tornado warning. And the radar is not showing any rotation as well. And I'm just looking at the chat room, and the National Weather Service Peachtree City chat room is also blowing up from folks in the emergency management and public safety genre in and around Hall County asking questions about this particular storm. But if you look real close, you can see it does look like it. And I understand why the trained eye thinks that's a tornado or a twin vortex. That's Thunder Buddies right there. Let's go back one. But there's another look at it. And it does. It looks like a wedge. I mean, it looks like a funnel cloud. I get it. And unless you are trained to know exactly what to look at, you could mistaken that for a tornado all day long. But that's not what we're looking at. Now, you folks back down in Alabama, across West Georgia, East Alabama, remember this conversation we just had. When you see those clouds like that, unless a warning has been issued by the National Weather Service, odds are that is not a tornado. You're looking at what's referred to as a scud cloud. They are cloud formations. Most of the time, they're updrafts into the storm. And from a distance, from the right angle, it looks just like a tornado. And again, here's the storm that we're talking about. And you'll see that blue flashing polygon. That is a special weather statement. It's not a severe thunderstorm warning. It's not a tornado warning. And then when I switch to base velocity, certainly rotating thunderstorm, no question about that. But you see, we don't have any couplets here. We don't have green and red touching. Certainly got wind in it, 40 to 50 mile per hour wind, right over the north end of Lake Lanier, about to cross over 52 between Claremont and Lula. Right out there at the boat ramp, right there on 52. You folks are familiar with the area, you know where I'm talking about. But I also concur. I do not see any evidence of a tornado in this particular storm. So there you go, you folks up here in North Georgia. And thanks, Bryce, for bringing that to my attention. Back in East Alabama, we can see those severe thunderstorm warnings continue. And I got to say, at the moment, the worst-looking storm is going to be this one up here in Calhoun County, just to the west of downtown Jacksonville. University of Jacksonville sitting right there, just to the west, between 431 and 204 is where the heaviest part of this is. And the computer algorithm is telling us there's a 100% chance of severe hail in this storm, and the computer's estimating the hail size at 2.5 inches. That is significant hail. So if you're in that area, you want to make sure you get your automobile under some cover and get off of the roadway. One of the most frustrating things every single time we get into severe weather is to watch the videos, and they'll surface tomorrow. There'll be somebody that'll have video of this storm on 431 or up there on 204 west of Jacksonville. And in that video, you'll see people driving right into this storm. That's called not being situationally aware. Because if you were situationally aware, you wouldn't be driving into it. And that's how injuries and fatalities happen. Folks just not being situationally aware. So that 2.5-inch hail indication, now understand, this is the computer telling us this. I don't see any ground truth reporting of 2.5-inch hail, but that's tennis ball size. That's big stuff. That'll put a hurting on you quick. Zoom back out, and we see that line of storms coming out I-20 now, around just to the east of Leeds, about to move into Talladega. Then the intensity kind of drops off a bit, though I think they're maintaining the severe thunderstorm warnings because of the wind gust that's probably out ahead of the leading edge of this. And you can see, if you look real close, let me turn the warnings off. If you look real close, you can see a line right there. That is a gust front that's running out ahead of this line of thunderstorms. Anytime you see that showing up on radar, you can pretty much go to the bank with the fact that that is going to be, pretty significant winds. We're talking 30, maybe 40 mile per hour winds or higher running out ahead of this line of thunderstorms. Well, I have video now. And I must say it's very interesting. All right, give me a minute. Let me see if we can get that to work. Now, here's the thing, too, and I'll caution you before I show you this. I cannot verify the only thing I can verify to you is that this was posted on Facebook. All right, take the display screen again. There we go. Hang on a second. I don't know why it's so small. Here we go. The only thing I can verify is this is posted on Facebook, and the person that posted it says that they're on Lake Lanier. Now, there's a lake, and I got to tell you, that looks awfully suspicious to me. Now, there are two things I will say. You have to understand that Hall County, Georgia, which is where this allegedly was filmed just a few moments ago, is quite some distance away from the Atlanta National Weather Service office at Peachtree City, meaning that if you understand how radar works, the further you are away from the radar beam, the higher in the air the radar is looking. So could this be a low-angle, quick spin-up tornado that went undetected by the National Weather Service? It is plausible. That can sometimes happen. But I will concur that radar did not indicate a tornado at all. And again, this still could be a Scud, but that right there, my friend, looks like a tornado to me. Again, this video coming in from just moments ago down on the north end of Lake Lanier, just north of Gainesville, Georgia. Tornado warnings were not issued. I understand the sirens may have been activated down there. For you folks up here in North Georgia. I will tell you, there's no indication of a tornado up there right now. If indeed this was a tornado, it was a quick spin-up tornado, though that joker right there looks pretty significant. But again, understand, folks, I cannot verify any of this. We're just pulling it off of Facebook. So the Weather Service now issuing a special weather statement for you folks in North Georgia for Lumpkin County. Strong thunderstorm will impact portions of southeastern Lumpkin, east central Dawson, and northwestern Hall County through 8 p.m. Eastern. A strong thunderstorm was over Dahlonega, or just south of Dahlonega, moving to the northeast at 30 miles per hour. Now, you're looking at the radar shot of East Alabama, which is our primary coverage area. But occasionally, when we have severe weather in both places, we watch both places. I mean, I'm an emergency manager up here. My home is like within 5 miles of that latest advisory that was just issued. So we'll take a look at it right quick. This is what's left of that possible tornado that developed down on the north end of Lake Lanier, possibly. We'll wait and see what the Weather Service says about it. They certainly didn't issue anything on it. This is what's left of that storm, and it's now to the it's now to the southeast of Claremont. It's moving to the east-northeast, so it could clip the extreme southeast corner of White County, maybe staying either along or south of 254. So that'd be the extreme southern and southeastern corner of Randolph. And then also we'll catch western and southwestern Habersham County. And then the storm just south of Dahlonega. This is going to continue moving northeast. Probably will get Dahlonega in points to the east, back toward the White County line, back in my direction. The Dr. Don studios are right here. And so you see where that storm is. I think that will probably work to my west, and this one's going to work to my east. So I think we look pretty good right here, right now. So let's get you back down to East Alabama. Whoa, look at that storm up there in North Georgia. Let's look at that just for a minute. That's pretty significant right there, folks. That's some nasty-looking stuff. We've got a mesoscale on this one just to the west of Blue Ridge, which is confirming that the storm is rotating. That doesn't mean that we have a tornado, but certainly does mean that we've got an extremely strong thunderstorm there. Anywhere you see the whites and blues and purples flashing, and you see those little circles, those are strong thunderstorms. And then as we get back into East Alabama, again, that strong storm near Jacksonville. Got another one to the northwest of Anniston, out there around Pell City. And now we are catching a weather alert up here in northeast Georgia. And let's see what that is.
Until 8:15 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. At 7:35 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from near Audubon to Calhoun, moving east at 30 miles per hour. Hazard.
I think that's going to be for the stuff in northwest Georgia. And I'm checking several different things here at the same time. So, yeah. Now, I got to say this, folks. We've got two things, well, actually three things I'm really keeping an eye on right now. It's going to be this stuff right here, because that's going to continue moving to the east and eventually will work into the White County area. Then we have this storm south of Dahlonega moving north. It could end up in northwest White County. Either one of these situations could go severe at any time. And given the fact what we've already seen possibly happen down there on the north end of Lake Lanier, the Weather Service is probably ramping up their visualization of what's going on up here in northeast Georgia. And then, of course, we're watching the stuff back there in East Alabama. But it's possible I may have to bounce out of here. Hang on just 1 second. I've got another one of those calls coming in. Now, that's what you call multitasking. So we have, Helen, Georgia is in White County, Georgia, which is the county where I live, and that's where I'm an emergency manager. And Helen, Georgia is up there in the north end of White County. And for those of you who don't know this, there's a castle up there. They've been in the process of building this castle for like 14 years. And they have built a castle, and they have a special show production that's going to run for the next 4 or 5 weeks. And tonight is opening night. And we've got severe weather around us. So some of our public safety staff is working that venue for public safety reasons. And so that was a phone call from one of our chiefs that are up there working that event, wanting me to keep an eye on this storm down here south of Dahlonega that's going to be moving in that general direction. It may slide just a little bit to the west of Helen. We'll have to kind of watch that and see. I don't think this stuff down here around Lula is going to be an issue. I think that definitely goes east of Helen. But this storm south of Dahlonega right here could certainly be an impact on Helen. And then we have this main line, which is still back west of Blue Ridge and Ellijay, that's going to roll across all of northeast Georgia, and that certainly, I think, will affect Helen. Now, will it be as strong then as it is now by the time it gets to Helen? It's a big question mark. So they're watching us up there now at the castle in Helen. Yeah, it was Josh. It was Josh, Marcia. All right, so a lot of folks tuning in from East Alabama, and I know I'm spending a lot of time on North Georgia, but I have responsibilities up here too, folks. And longer, if you guys will bear with me while I do both, then I can probably stay with you a little bit longer. But I got to say, if this line up here in northwest Georgia continues its intensity, if it gets another county or two closer to White County, and is it still at that same level of intensity, I am probably going to have to bounce out of here. I'll continue to monitor and certainly will post information if it's something life-threatening for East Alabama or West Georgia. I will be back with you. So the National Weather Service has issued a strong, let's see, this is going to be a special weather statement. A strong thunderstorm will impact portions of northeastern Forsyth, southeastern Dawson, in northwestern Hall County through 8:15 p.m. 7:40, a strong thunderstorm was over Chestatee, or 9 miles northeast of Cumming, moving to the northeast at 20. Hazard with this storm is 40 to 50 miles per hour wind to penny-sized hail and frequent cloud-to-ground lightning. That is for Hall County up here in northeast Georgia. Down in East Alabama, we still have this line of thunderstorms. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect now for pretty much all of these counties where you see red. I'll turn the severe thunderstorm warnings back on so you can see that the severe thunderstorm warnings are currently in effect of our coverage area for Calhoun, Talladega, in northern sections of Chilton County. At the moment, we have nothing in Cleburne County, Clay, Randolph, Coosa, Tallapoosa, Chambers, Lee, and all of our West Georgia counties. At the moment, nothing to deal with here. But this will change as this line continues to move off to the east. So now we have another extension of the severe thunderstorm watch. Severe thunderstorm watch for Calhoun, Cleburne, Clay, Chilton, Tallapoosa, Elmore, Talladega, Randolph, and Coosa has been expanded until 9 p.m., or I should say extended to 9 p.m. So they didn't move it further to the east. They expanded or extended the time. So, yeah, I think these line of thunderstorms are slowing down, to be honest with you. I don't think we're looking at the individual storms may be racing off to the northeast at 40 to 50 miles per hour, but the line itself is just not moving very fast. It just hasn't moved that much in the last 30 minutes or so. So they're extending the watch timing now out until 9 p.m., for East Alabama. Okay, southwest White County, you just caught a special weather statement. Let me switch back to Atlanta, and I'll show it to you. And I understand I need to tell Taylor to calm down. So calm down, Taylor. We're going to be okay. So we have a heavy cell moving across southeastern White County. And so the Weather Service has issued a special weather statement now. This is going to be out there around the Mossy Creek area of White County and right along the White County, Habersham County line. A special weather statement now from the National Weather Service. Motion is to the northeast at 15 miles per hour. Maximum sized hail on this storm is 3/4 of an inch with maximum wind gust of about 40 miles per hour for the Leaf community and Mossy Creek areas of White County. We also have that special weather statement that continues for Lumpkin County. This is going to be for Dahlonega all the way back over to the White County line. This one is moving to the northeast. Let's see what kind of motion we've got on this one. Northeast at 29 miles per hour. So it's about, it's probably a little bit less than that away from you up there in Helen. Probably, nautical miles. We're probably looking at about 15 to 20. So this has got a ways to go before it makes it up into the Helen area, if it does. We'll keep an eye on that. Here's the problem. We have another strong cell just behind it that's coming up the west side of Lake Lanier. That's probably going to move right over southwest White County. That's out here where I am. And it's got 50 mile per hour winds, 3/4 inch hail. And the motion on it is northeast at 21 miles per hour. So it's going to be a minute before it gets up here to our studios as well. All right, we're catching more severe thunderstorm warnings here. So let me see what that is. Let me take you back over to East Alabama and West Georgia. And let me see what these are. All right, this is a new severe thunderstorm warning now for Calhoun and Cleburne counties of East Alabama. The National Weather Service in Birmingham has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Talladega, Randolph, Calhoun, Cleburne, and Clay counties of East Alabama. So there you go. It just populated on the screen. So we now have severe thunderstorm warnings for Talladega, Randolph, Calhoun, Cleburne, and Clay in effect until 8:15 p.m. At 6:47 p.m., severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from near Mars Hill to near Mount Cheahaw to near Winterboro to Bonaire to near Wilsonville, moving to the east at 45 miles per hour. The hazard with these storms, 60 mile per hour wind gust and quarter-sized hail. So 60 mile per hour wind and quarter-sized hail. Anywhere in that area where you see that orange polygon. And I got to tell you, the strongest part of this line of thunderstorms at the moment is from just north of Jacksonville down to Anniston, down to about Talladega. As we look at, then there's a little lull in the action south of Talladega, and it picks back up again just to the southwest of Alabaster. Then that stretches all the way down to between Demopolis and Selma. All right, I got to take a quick break to take care of a couple of things here in the studio, and so we're going to take you over to full screen radar. It is in motion, so you can kind of get an idea of the direction the storms are moving. And I am going to take a quick break. Don't go away. And I'll be right back with you here on Dr. Don's Weather. right, folks, Dr. Don back in here with you. Let's reset everything. It's 6:29 p.m. I'm sorry, it is not 6:29 p.m. It is 6:56 p.m. Central, 7:56 p.m. Eastern. It is Friday, May 2nd, 2025. We're on the air for severe weather coverage across East Alabama, West Georgia, and we are watching Northeast Georgia this evening. We've got some pretty nasty storms in and around Dahlonega, Gainesville, the southwest part of White County, and also up into Habersham County. And the National Weather Service has just issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Hall County and part of Lumpkin County. That's going to be for this cell that's down just to the northwest of Gainesville, moving to the northeast at 33 miles per hour. Maximum hail with this storm at 1 inch, and maximum winds at 50 miles per hour. So the reason they're warning for this storm then is going to be for the hail size. The criteria for severe thunderstorm is 1 inch in hail or larger, or winds in excess of 58 miles per hour. So the wind doesn't meet the criteria, but the hail does. So that's why they're asking that. I see a lot of whatabouts over there in the chat room. If I'm not talking about your town, then you have nothing to be concerned about at the moment. We'll give you an overall view here in just a few moments. So let me give you this severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued up here in northeast Georgia. We got a lot of folks up here watching us this evening. National Weather Service in Peachtree City has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for southeastern Lumpkin County, southeastern Dawson County, and northwestern Hall County until 8:30 p.m. At 7:54, a severe thunderstorm was located near War Hill Park, or 8 miles northwest of Gainesville, moving to the northeast at 35 miles per hour. Hazard with this storm is quarter-sized hail. It is radar indicated. And hail of this diameter could certainly cause damage to automobiles. So if you're in the path of this storm, now's a good time to take your automobile to a place of safety. Get it out of the weather. If you got a carport, garage, you want to get it under there. Or if you don't have a way of protecting your automobile, a blanket, cardboard over the windshield. These are all good ideas. If you're in the path of this storm, that would be those of you up in northwestern Hall County, southern Lumpkin County, and if this storm continues in the direction it's going to include southwestern White County as well, right here at the Dr. Don Studios. So know that we're about to be under the gun up here where our studios are and where we broadcast from. And if you lose us, most likely we have lost power. And I'll get back to you as quick as we possibly can. Understand that we don't have an auto generator, so we have to do it all manually. It may take a minute for us to get back on, but we will certainly post on Facebook until we can get back on the air if we were to lose power. So looking at it from the Atlanta radar, there's a better look at it, and you certainly see a hail core there. No question about that. That hail core is right there along 136. It comes out of Dawson County into Hall County, and that is moving to the northeast. So you folks in Murrayville, Claremont, the Little Lumpkin area of White County, I think Highway 115 east of Dahlonega all the way back into central White County. Heads up. Here comes a brand new severe thunderstorm warning. Now, this is going to be for that storm that's now just north of Dahlonega, moving to the northeast. So heads up. Cleveland, Helen, and the rural parts of northern White County and northern Lumpkin County. Brand new severe thunderstorm warning. Now issued just north of Dahlonega, moving to the northeast. The core of this storm is probably going to pass just west of Helen, but Helen is certainly going to feel the effects of this storm. So you folks up here, if you're outdoors in the Helen area, you need to start taking shelter. You don't need to be outside. There's going to be a good bit of lightning with this storm, and there's certainly a decent hail core with this storm. So there is the concern for Helen, Georgia. So Bryce, make sure that make sure Josh is aware that they need to go into their safety plan up there and get everybody into a place of safety. Outside's not where you want to be right now if you're in Helen, Georgia. So looking back at East Alabama, let me silence this alarm right quick. Looking back at East Alabama, right now we are looking at severe thunderstorm warnings for Randolph, Clay, Talladega, Cleburne, and part of Calhoun. But again, I got to tell you, the strongest part of this storm, there's no question, it is up in northern Cleburne County down into central Calhoun County. Then when it gets back down to around Talladega, it's not as strong. Yeah, then there's a little gap in there, and then it picks up again to the northwest of Clanton, up around Montevallo, and then stretches back down to around Selma. Slow-moving storm, too. So at the moment, the call for action is up here in Helen, Georgia. Northwestern Hall County, southern Lumpkin County, northern Lumpkin County, western White County, and northern White County up around Helen. Call to action. Anyone that's outdoors up there in the Helen area needs to go indoors into a place of safety until this line of storms passes. And so, with that, I'm going to have to take another quick break. I'll leave the radar feed up. I'm going to zoom back out, show you East Alabama. Let's go back to the Birmingham radar. Going to put it in motion, and I'll be back with you shortly. Stay with us. Our coverage will continue. All right, Dr. Don back in here with you now. 7:07 on your central side of the time zone. It is 8:07 p.m. Eastern, and we are on the air broadcasting live, watching a line of strong to severe thunderstorms move across East Alabama, West Georgia, and across North Georgia and Northeast Georgia. So we're just going to kind of take a look at this entire thing now. We'll start in East Alabama and West Georgia. And we have a new severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued that catches just a very, very small portion of Carroll County, right up there at the I-20 interchange. And that's for that heavy cell that's working across the northern parts of Cleburne County. And I'll take you in a little bit closer on that. And we'll start up there around Coldwater and even up to the north, up there around Piedmont, the heavy thunderstorm up there. And it stretches back down to around Heflin and then to a point just east of Anniston, moving into Chulafini at the moment, just northwest of Delta in Clay County. Just scattered stuff moving through Talladega. I mean, there could certainly be some gusty winds there, but I don't see any real indication of hail in that Talladega area. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning now that's in effect for all of these counties you see in orange in East Alabama. That includes Randolph, Clay, Talladega, and then back up into Cleburne, Calhoun, just a real small area there of northwestern Carroll County, and then on up into northwest Georgia, places like Cedartown and Tallapoosa under a severe thunderstorm warning at this hour. Now, for the rest of East Alabama and West Georgia, no issues. There's nothing happening anywhere across East Alabama and West Georgia outside of that orange polygon that you see there. A lot of people asking about their particular locations, and the way it works here on Dr. Don's weather, there goes one right there. Welcome, Jacqueline, to the What About Club. What about Roanoke is the question. Well, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning, and that's for this line of thunderstorms back off to your west. Now, it's still in Talladega County, so we got a ways to go for this thing gets in to the Roanoke area. But if I'm not talking about your particular town, then you have no worries. I promise you. I'm going to talk about where the most severe and life-threatening weather is taking place. That's the way we do it here. It would be impossible for me to talk and tell you exactly. Number one, I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen in every single location because I don't know. I don't know what the storms are going to look like by the time they get to your town. I can tell you what's happening upstream from your location. And I can tell you what our theory is here, that these storms should start to lose some of their intensity as we lose the heating of the day, and we're in the process of doing that now. Can we tell you for certain that these storms are not going to be severe by the time they get to your town? Absolutely not. There's no way anybody can tell you that. So this is kind of a watch and see, and as these storms move into your town, I will call the name of your town, and I'll talk about your town. There goes one for Dahlonega, which is way up here in northeast Georgia. Kristen, Lester, welcome to the Dr. Don What About Club up in Dahlonega, Georgia. You're under a severe thunderstorm warning. And I don't know if you're in Dahlonega proper, but the most significant part of the storm in Lumpkin County is to the east of Dahlonega. Let me switch back to Atlanta so we can get a better look at it. And there you go. So the most significant part of that storm actually now is in White County. Though you've got another cell to the south that's moving up to the northeast. I think that one's going to move a little bit to the east of Dahlonega. So the strongest part of the storm in Lumpkin County right now, most of that is in White County. And it's right there just north of Highway 115, right on the Lumpkin-White County line. So that is right there at the Solid Rock Baptist Church out on Highway 115 West, if you know where that is, in White County. And that is moving to the northeast. That is moving in the general direction. I think it moves a little bit west of Cleveland and continues north. It's moving pretty much making a V-line up there toward Helen, Georgia. And we have a rather large event taking place in Helen. That's most every weekend, but tonight there's something particular big that's going on up there. And so we have already activated their severe weather protocol up there, and everyone is safe. They're indoors, and that's all you need to be safe in severe weather type events such as this. Just indoors, away from that lightning. That's the most dangerous part of these type storms. And, of course, the hailstones. We've seen up to tennis ball-sized hail in some of these storms this afternoon. And tennis ball-sized hail can make for a bad day if you start getting hit with that stuff. So that's the situation up here in northeast Georgia. Severe thunderstorm warning for White and Lumpkin County, and also severe thunderstorm warning for Hall County. Severe thunderstorm now just northwest of Lake Lanier. That's going to move up into southern Lumpkin County, heads up Murrayville, heads up again out here in the Little Lumpkin area of southwest White County, where White, Hall, and Lumpkin all meet. This next storm is going to move right over that area. So that's where the Dr. Don studios are located. So there is a decent chance here that we could lose power. And if we do, that's going to take us off the air. And it takes a minute to get our generator running and get all systems back online. I will be posting on Facebook in the event that that happens, and I'll be back with you as soon as I can get everything back online. We've just accomplished getting fiber internet, which we are just screaming tonight at about 6,342 kilobits a minute, which is a little over 2,000 kilobits higher than we normally get to stream at. Our next big event is going to be an automatic switch generator, so we don't have to worry about power losses. So hopefully that's coming soon. So again, for those of you in East Alabama and West Georgia that are watching us, we're here because of a severe thunderstorm watch that's in place now in effect until 9 p.m. this evening Central. They just extended it out to 9 p.m. and a handful of severe thunderstorm warnings that cover part of Carroll, Cleburne, Calhoun, Talladega, Clay, and Randolph across East Alabama and West Georgia, and that is going to be for this line of storms, and primarily for the area that I'm drawing a circle around. Then there's a little bit of a lull in the action, then it picks up again down here north of Clanton. And all of this is moving in this direction. All right, so we've got a new warning coming for northeast Georgia. And that is going to be, I believe, Dawson County. Severe thunderstorm warning for northern Cherokee County. This is in Georgia. Western Dawson County, southeastern Gordon, Pickens, northeastern Bartow. Until 9:15 p.m. At 8:15, a severe thunderstorm was located over Hinton or 10 miles west of Jasper, moving to the east at 40 miles per hour. Hazard with this storm, 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-sized hail. Thanks, Renee, for that report. She's on I-20 in Oxford, Alabama, and says it's pretty nasty there. Hey, Donnie, you got your little shout out there. And there's kind of a big look at East Alabama and West Georgia. You see, we have special weather statements north of Clanton and then just west of Chilton County. And then we have those severe thunderstorm warnings. And we have a new severe thunderstorm warning for northeast Georgia. This one is going to be an extension of the current warning. This is a severe thunderstorm warning for northwestern Towns County. That's up there around Hiawassee, west central Lumpkin County, eastern Gilmer County, Union County, and eastern Fannin County until 9 p.m. At 8:17 p.m., this is eastern, severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from Notley Dam to near Talona, moving to the east at 40 miles per hour. And pretty much all these storms have 60 up to 60 mile per hour winds. And 1-inch size hail. And I'm continuing to get photographs of what, I got to be honest with you, what appears to be a tornado in Gainesville now about an hour ago. This would be not in Gainesville proper, but north of Gainesville up on Lake Lanier. The problem we have here is there's no way of verifying the validity of the photographs. And I got to tell you, radar did not indicate anything. But you have to understand that that part of northeast Georgia is, 60, 65 nautical miles away from the radar site down at Peachtree City. And the radar site at Greenville has a hard time seeing back across the mountain range. So it is possible that we had a low altitude quick spin up tornado that went undetected. That is certainly possible. Not likely. It doesn't happen very often, but it is possible. And I'm not going to argue the fact that it certainly appears to be a tornado. What I cannot do is verify the photographs that we're seeing on social media. I can tell you with confidence, and it is verified, that Gainesville Fire is reporting no damage. That's coming direct. So that's good, though I will say that it appears where these photographs are coming from was right up there on the northern end of Lake Lanier, which it's pretty rural up there. And it most likely, if it is a tornado, most likely it was a quick spin up, which meant it wasn't on the ground very long. Maybe a minute or two. And if it was over a wooded area, then there you go. No reports of damage. All right, here comes a new severe thunderstorm warning. No, that's a repeat of the old one. Sorry about that. And I'll say this much. This line of storms has really, really put the brakes on moving into East Alabama. It's not moving nearly as fast as it once was. The individual storms may be racing off to the northeast, but this line is not moving as fast as it was earlier. Let's run back up here to northeast Georgia right quick. And there you go. The northern edge of this storm that's prompted the severe thunderstorm warning for western and northern White County. The northern edge of that is just now moving into the Helen area. So that weather now, the conditions in Helen will go downhill quickly. And then there's another cell right behind it that's going to take a very similar path, right up across southwest White County, through central White County, and then eventually up into the Helen area. So for the next hour or so, it's going to be pretty stormy up there in Helen. And then behind that, we have the line of thunderstorms. These storms that we've got going on in Lumpkin, White, and Hall and Habersham right now are out ahead of the main line. So there's more weather to come. It's going to be a long, stormy night across northeast Georgia. The good news for East Alabama. All right, stand by a second. Okay, we're back. So for East Alabama, I'll tell you that I don't see anything severe moving into Clay or Randolph, even though we do have severe thunderstorm warnings for both counties. I just don't see it. There's not much in Talladega County that would be severe. If we have anything severe going on, it's going to be the wind, and there certainly could be some wind gust approaching severe criteria. Let me just read the latest here. So we're moving to the east at 36 miles per hour with wind gusts to 60. All right, so you got to have 58 mile per hour winds to warrant a severe thunderstorm. And so if we have wind gusts at 60, then that does meet the threshold. So I think what the primary reason for the warning in Clay and Randolph is going to be for a gust front that is likely running right along the leading edge of this line of thunderstorms. And it's moving in this direction, the gust front, while the individual storms are racing off to the northeast. Stand by. Okay, so we have power fluctuations up here in northeast Georgia, and again, for those of you who don't know, I'm an emergency manager up here, and our local 911 is one of my responsibilities, and so generators running their own commercial power, but because of the power fluctuation, the generator came up, so they were calling to let me know that they've got some power fluctuations going on up here. And we have that situation up there in Helen. So I'm going to have to kind of jump back and forth here and try to do some, make sure everything is handled up here. Let's see what we got. Okay. Code red, a little behind. Okay. All right. So that severe thunderstorm warning up in Helen continues. That storm moving into the Helen area right now. Then you have a second cell right behind it. It's going to move right across Cleveland and then up there into the Helen area. Now, the southeastern side of White County, not under a severe thunderstorm warning. This is only for the western side of White County, central White County, and northern White County. And then you folks over in extreme eastern Lumpkin County, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning. And then just off to the west, we have that main line of thunderstorms that's headed toward Helen. And even behind that, look, folks, we got rain that's going to continue for the better part of tonight. So the weather in Helen, Josh, if you're listening to me, is going to be miserable for the foreseeable future. There may be just enough of a break in the weather after this first line moves through to get folks back to their vehicles. But then you're going to have another line come in right behind it. It's just not going to be a good night up there. We are seeing some development now in southern Clay County that is blowing up pretty fast. We are already under a severe thunderstorm warning down here. This is for a cell between Gibsonville and Shiloh in Clay County, Alabama, right there on Highway 49. We most likely have some hail in that cell. That's just west of Lake Wedowee, R.L. Harris Dam. And that'll move off to the northeast up toward Flat Rock, and Ophelia up there on Highway 48 just west of Wedowee. Another cell right behind that to the south, just northwest of New Site, will move in the general same direction. So it's getting a lot closer to you over here, Wadley, and this is stuff that's running out ahead of the main line. You'll notice we've been talking about the fact there hadn't been a whole lot happening over here on the main line in the Talladega area. Most of the heavy stuff has been up north, up in Cleburne, Calhoun, up into the Buchanan, Cedartown area. But now we're beginning to see the south end of this line fill in, and it's filling in right there in central and southeastern Clay County, and that's going to move right into Randolph. So we still have that valid severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect for Clay and Randolph, and now I think it's beginning to validate. I'll show you these storms are just now developing down in southern Clay. That was 7:24, so about 10 minutes ago, these storms started popping up, and just within 10 minutes, you can see how they have grown down here in southeastern Clay County. Again, this stuff is going to move in this general direction. But you've got redevelopment down to the south, so all this is going to slide right into southwest Randolph, western Randolph, and then right across probably Wedowee and up to the northeast. All right, so the Weather Service just dropped the severe thunderstorm warning for Talladega, but continues the severe thunderstorm warning for Clay, Randolph, and Cleburne. So the National Weather Service office in Atlanta has just issued a severe thunderstorm watch. I'm sorry, the National Weather Service has extended severe thunderstorm watch number 216 to include the following areas until 11 p.m. Eastern in Georgia. This watch includes in North Georgia, Cobb, Dawson, Douglas, Forsyth, Hall, Lumpkin, and Union. In Northeast Georgia, it includes Towns and White. So all of North and Northeast Georgia now under a severe thunderstorm watch, as well as the current ongoing severe thunderstorm warning for White County. All right, I'm going to have to put you on pause again. It's beginning to get a little rough up here at the studio, and to be honest with you, I got to go shut the coop door on the chicken coop. I'll be right back with you. I'm back in here with you, Dr. Don, back in here with you. 7:36 Central, 8:36 Eastern. And we got a lot going on. Let me take you over to Northeast Georgia right quick. I've been talking about it for the last, a couple of hours. We've got a special event that's taking place up here in Helen, Georgia. And I understand the producers of the show are tuned in and listening to us. And so I'm going to kind of show you what's going on up there. And you'll see that we have a severe thunderstorm warning that does encompass the Helen area. And it's because of this cell that's sitting right on top of Helen at the moment. Now, the heaviest part of this cell is to the southwest of Helen, right there, just north of Cleveland. And this is moving in this general direction off to the northeast. There is a hail indicator there. Probably not significant hail in that part of the storm, but that's not the only thing out there at the moment. Notice that we have, in that last volume scan update, a secondary cell that's coming up right behind the first one. That's going to move just west of Cleveland. That also is going to move in the general direction of Helen. There is some lightning involved with this, though the lightning output not as strong as it was just a few moments ago. There's certainly still enough lightning out there to be dangerous for the Helen area. Now, if all of that were not enough, when I zoom back out, these storms that are affecting the Helen and White County area at the moment are running out ahead of the main line of thunderstorms, which is still off to our west. And all of that has got to move through Helen as well, all of northeast Georgia. And that line of storms, there'll be a little bit of a lull, I think, between the storms that are in White County now and the main line that will move in here in the next hour or so. And then behind that, I think the severe possibilities will decline, but look at all the rain. It stretches all the way back to north central Alabama, west of Gadsden. So we're looking at about 130, 140 miles, maybe 150 miles of solid rain behind these storms that are moving through northeast Georgia at the moment. So that's kind of an update for northeast Georgia. You got severe possibilities for the next, hour and a half, and then you got rain probably for the balance of the evening, at least until midnight, 1 or 2 a.m. before the rain subsides. And then down here in East Alabama and West Georgia, which is our primary coverage area, we have this line of thunderstorms moving across East Alabama. We have severe thunderstorm warnings now in Cleburne County, Clay County, and Randolph County of east central Alabama. And there really hasn't been a whole lot affecting Clay and Randolph until like 20 minutes ago. And then the south end of that line just really began to flare up. And we're seeing some heavy thunderstorms now from south of Ashland all the way back into the Lake Wedowee area, and soon we'll be moving into Woodland. The primary threat here for East Alabama at the moment, looking at the radar output, is going to be small hail and damaging straight-line winds around 60 miles per hour. We do have a couple of hail markers. See, there's only a 30% chance of hail there, 30% there, but those markers just popped up. So these storms are developing as they move off. They're racing off to the northeast at around 30 to 40, while the entire line is slowly sinking off to the east-southeast. So I think, let me verify it before I say it. It looks like the Weather Service maybe is replacing the severe thunderstorm warning for White County with a special weather statement. That is good news. Now you've still got rain and showers and thunderstorms and gusty winds and possibly some very small hail, but that is a good sign that the storm may be weakening a bit there in White County. Now it is still going to rain. Rain's not fixing to stop. There may be a little bit of a lull there before the next main line of storms moves in. We are losing the heat of the day, so these storms are expected to start weakening. But the rain's not going to go away. That's going to move across North Georgia. That's going to continue. Again, it looks like the Weather Service. Let me see if I can get in the chat room and clarify that right quick. I don't see anything in the chat room. But it looks like that's what they're doing. they're going to go with a special weather statement. And that's a little bit of a downgrade from a severe thunderstorm warning. So conditions may start to improve a little bit in Helen, but it's not going to last long. Again, look at what's back off to your west. More heavy storms on the way. Down here in East Alabama, heavy rain now in Wedowee, all the way up to Woodland, back down to Ophelia. Maybe some small hail out there on on Highway 48 west of Wedowee. And then that stretches back into southeastern Clay County and down to around Mellow Valley. Thank you, Taylor. Taylor Dorsey. Taylor Dorsey Taylor. Taylor. I'm trying to run interference for Josh. Yeah, and again, folks, if I'm not talking about your particular location, then that doesn't mean, that means that you have nothing to be concerned about right now. But this entire line is moving to the east and northeast. So if the weather is to the west of where your town is on this map, then it's going to move through your town. We do have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Randolph County, which does include Roanoke. It includes Ashland, Lineville. Though I'll say Lineville's pretty much out of it, so is Ashland now, because it's right along this line where the most significant severe weather would be expected. Though I say that, then these storms back from Clanton all the way up to around Alabaster and just south of Birmingham, I wouldn't think would go severe because we've got this stuff out ahead of it that's going to kind of rob it of its energy, but it's possible. And the main threat this afternoon with these storms has been, wind gusts of around 60 miles per hour and large hail. Even though I think we may have had an undetected tornado on Lake Lanier up here in northeast Georgia a couple of hours ago, this is really not tornado-conducive weather. But again, understand, anytime you have a rotating thunderstorm, you can never say never with a thunderstorm, even though we may not have veering in the upper levels of the atmosphere, which is typically what you need to have tornadoes, or at least have a good chance at a tornado. Even though you don't have that going on, you can still get a quick spin up tornado. And that may very well have happened an hour and a half, 2 hours ago up here in northeast Georgia on the north side of Lake Lanier. Certainly, a lot of times storms like that will produce what's called Scud clouds, which look like tornadoes, but they're really not. In this particular case, I thought that's what we were looking at the first couple of photographs that I saw, but then the video was the telltale sign. And I'm seeing in the chat room now where I believe it was Brad Nitz is talking about video of the Lake Lanier waterspout from earlier this afternoon. So he's already calling it a tornado/waterspout. So we'll see what the Weather Service says about it. Looks like it went undetected, which is certainly something that can happen that far away from a radar site. And I think that may very well be what we end up seeing. Miss Mayra is watching us in Frog Eye, Alabama. They got the best frogs in the world at Frog Eye. Justin, very, very small chance of a tornado at Heflin. The severe, you're just about out of the severe threat as it is. And the tornado threat tonight all across East Alabama and West Georgia is very low. It's not zero, but it's very low. So Savannah's reporting some hail in Woodland. And that certainly correlates with what we're seeing on the radar. There's a hail indication there, 40% chance of hail in and just north of Woodland. I'm showing the best chance of hail up there on 48 north of Woodland. And then maybe some small hail around the Ava community in Randolph County, and then out there on 48 West going back toward the 48 West Bridge. And just to the southwest of R.L. Harris Dam there, just north of Corinth and Clay County. That's the best-looking hail indication I've seen in the last few minutes. That's showing the algorithm says only a 10% chance of hail, but the visual on that looks like there certainly may be some hail taking place there. Roanoke, you've got some gusty winds moving in. That gust front's moving through the Roanoke area right now. And just hang on a second. We've got a pretty bad automobile accident up here. I'm reading the notes on it right quick. Okay. We have a special weather statement. Yes, special weather statement also for Talladega County. That's also a good sign in that we're getting special weather statements back behind these thunderstorms. And that's why I said just a while ago, asking about Heflin, and you're about out of this stuff. But if you look back to the west, these storms kind of look a little irregular over here north of Childersburg. So we're not completely out of the woods yet with the passage of these storms in Randolph. We still got to pay attention to the activity back to our west because some of that could get a little out of hand as well. It wouldn't surprise me to catch at least a special weather statement here in just a few minutes for northern Tallapoosa County, just northeast of Alexander City along Highway 22, probably some hail up there. Stretching all the way back toward New Site and then up toward the mountain community in southern Clay County. Now, I tell you what's fixing to happen, folks. And this does not happen very often. But I think this is going to be one of those cases where we've got significant weather taking place both here locally, where my area of responsibility is, and in East Alabama and West Georgia at the same time. And I've been with you now for 2 hours and 1 minute on coverage, but I think I'm going to have to step aside because this main line is about to move into my county area of responsibility. This is the daytime grocery buying job, and I have responsibilities. And I think I'm going to have to step aside and make sure that I'm on top of what's going on up here. I will continue to post on Facebook if anything significant is issued for any of our counties across East Alabama and West Georgia. And if things calm down up here and we still have significant weather across East Alabama or West Georgia, then I'll come back on and we'll continue with our live coverage. So that'll do it for now. Thanks for joining us. You've been watching live severe weather coverage from Dr. Don's Weather.